What up, everybody? What up, everybody? What's up, everybody? Welcome back to another episode of AC Reviews the World. I'm your host, AC the Engineer, and we are at episode 161. Let's come on, man. We're moving on up. We're moving on up. Hopefully, everybody had a good weekend. It is Monday, March 30th, 2026, year of our Lord, and it's time to get into it. We got to get into it. You know, we got a lot of stuff to cover. This world is a crazy place, and we have to review the world together. Now, let's do some housekeeping first. You know how I like to do that and get it out the way. The best thing to do if you want to show support to this channel is just to hit that like button, hit that subscribe button, and then hit that notification bell so you can be up to date on all the videos now. And you know this is a show where we meet Monday through Friday, go over 4 or 5 topics, just depending on how I'm feeling and how time is running. And we start at 6 o'clock. So the best way, if you ever feel like you disagree with anything I say, or if you think I'm just talking crap, hey, let's leave a comment. Let's have a discussion about it. That's the best thing to talk about. And that's how we get to move forward. But you know how I like to do it. Let's jump right into it. The first topic that we got to go over today. And so we're going to be looking at a husband and wife. There's a Polymouth County, I think that's what they call it. But a husband and wife officer, husband, have been charged with the sexual assault of a teenager. And of course they was able to get bail and all that stuff. But let's get over into the story and see what all this is about. And then we'll go over into an AI breakdown just to get a little bit more information. But like always, let me know your thoughts and let me know if you disagree with anything I said. But let's jump over into it and see what our thoughts are, y'all. Let's play it.
Police officer and her husband are now facing several rape charges after a young man who was under their care as a teenager claimed they sexually assaulted him for years. The couple made their first appearance in court today, and NBC 10's Amelia Fabiano was inside the courtroom. She's live in Plymouth now with an update. Amelia.
JC, Officer Samantha Pelrine and her husband Daniel Foran were arrested just this morning here in Plymouth at their home without incident. Both of them pleading not guilty today here in court.
Any comment on the allegation?
No comment from Plymouth police officer Samantha Pelrine and her husband Daniel Foran as they leave Plymouth District Court Thursday on bail. They're facing multiple charges, including rape of a child. On March 17th, the alleged victim, now 21 years old, filed restraining orders against the couple. That's when Plymouth police say they placed Pelrine on paid administrative leave. She's been with the department since 2022. In an affidavit, the alleged victim said Pelrine and Foran took him in to raise him in 2018 when he was a teen and were granted legal guardianship about a year later. He claimed they both sexually assaulted him from then until last summer. Prosecutors describing in graphic detail the sexual assault and rape that allegedly occurred consistently for about 7 years.
When the alleged victim slows down, Daniel comes up behind the alleged victim and pushes him to force him to keep going on the intercourse.
The alleged victim claimed he moved out of their house last month and that, quote, "They are looking for me and I'm scared for my safety." The defense challenging that claim, though, saying he was in constant cordial contact with Pelrine and Foran during the period he claimed he was scared. The defense telling the judge the alleged victim made up all allegations and allegedly has a history of doing so.
He had accused someone falsely of sexually inappropriate behavior when he was in high school, when he later came clean and admitted it was a sexual encounter he had with a teammate on his basketball team.
Women who say they're related to the alleged victim also showing up to the end of the hearing.
We stand by the victim and justice will prevail.
At the Plymouth Police Department.
Now, that's a lot to unpack here. But the charges are very serious. So you have to investigate. They have to. But my real question is about the sexual assault that they said he made up back in high school. That throws a big wrench in the believability of the victim. That's what a lot of the jury is going to look at. Can we truly believe it? Especially if it's all hearsay. Now, if he has physical evidence to show that they sexually assaulted him, hey, that's even better. But if it goes off of a he said, she said type of thing, that is going to throw a wrench in the chain. But let's keep going into this.
Also released a statement this morning after the arrest of Officer Pellrine, saying they are appalled and deeply disturbed by these allegations. Officer Pellrine's duty status is also now under review. She and her husband are expected back in court coming up in June. Neither of them have prior criminal histories. Reporting live in Plymouth this evening, Amelia Fabiano, NBC 10 Boston.
Now let's get over into this next video and find out more information about it.
Plymouth police officer and her husband were released from custody just a short time ago after they were arraigned on charges that they assaulted a teenager for years. WBZ's Aaron Parsegian is live in Plymouth tonight with what we've learned about this case. Aaron?
Yeah, Lisa, the couple was arrested at their Plymouth home this morning, and just about an hour ago, they walked out of this courthouse free on bail, but they're facing some seriously disturbing charges. Any comment on the allegations?
No comment, thank you.
Plymouth police officer Samantha Pellrine and her husband Daniel Ferrand leaving Plymouth courthouse free on bail.
Sam, any comment?
And refusing to answer any questions.
Any comment on the allegations?
Hours before, the couple was cuffed and visibly shaken in the courtroom, facing a lengthy set of charges, accused of sexually assaulting a teenage boy over the course of several years.
This continues on with the three of them, with the alleged victim being forced to partake in these sexual encounters with Samantha and Daniel.
These allegations coming to light after the now 21-year-old alleged victim filed for a restraining order earlier this month in an affidavit telling the court the abuse began in 2019.
The allegations are that the sexual abuse started when he was 14 years old and continued up until last year. Another term for that is grooming.
But during the bail hearing, the couple's defense attorneys painting a different picture.
There was a history with this young man. He was a problem, and we can document it. He had accused someone falsely of sexually inappropriate behavior when he was in high school.
Poking holes in the alleged victim's claims and request for protection, saying he wasn't in fear and continued regularly communicating with both Pellrine and Ferrand.
I was baffled when I read the affidavit for the restraining order. So his stories are inconsistent, and I know today is not the day of trial.
Prosecutors were seeking both to be held on $250,000 bail, the judge striking that down to $10,000 for Pellrine and $25,000 for Ferrand, both pleading not guilty Thursday before walking out of court.
Any comment on the allegations?
No comment, thank you. Keep walking, everyone.
And the couple's next court date is June 8th. In a statement, the Plymouth Police Department says they are appalled by the allegations. Pellrine was placed on paid administrative leave last week. Live in Plymouth.
Who do you believe? We need more evidence to come out. But if it's true, from 14 to shortly after he was able to leave, they've been assaulting him, sexually assaulting him. Man, that is the clear sign of grooming. Bringing in somebody to raise them, to be your sexual partner. But we got to find out more information. Let's go over into the AI breakdown just to get a little bit more information about this whole case and just see what else we can find out. Let's jump over into it and see what we learn. So Plymouth, Massachusetts, I've never heard of that place before. Police officer and her husband were arrested and charged on March 26th. So we got the 31-year-old Samantha, 37-year-old Daniel, facing 3 counts of aggravated child rape and 1 count of child rape for the woman. And then the husband faces 20 charges, including 8 counts of aggravated rape of a child and 3 counts of aggravated rape of a child in joint enterprise. They said it happened back in 2018, or started back in 2018 when he was 14 years old and the couple became his legal guardians. He was allegedly sexually abused until early 2026. Both defendants pleaded not guilty during the argument, and they were released on that $10,000 and $25,000 bail. They were ordered to surrender their passport and firearms, stay away from the victim, and have no contact with them, with children under 18. So, and then the woman who works at Samantha, who works at the police office, she was placed on administrative leave by the Plymouth Police Department. Is it unpaid, I wonder? But either way, it's a lot of stuff we got to think about. because the big fat, and I think that the defense attorney for the couple is going to play heavily on the fact that he lied about a sexual encounter, or basically took back the sexual encounter that he was having with a friend, saying it was sexually assault, sexually abuse. And it's going to put a strain on the jury just thinking about his believability. If he doesn't have, if there's no evidence to suggest that there is a sexual relationship, it's going to be pretty hard to prove or to get the jury to believe without a reasonable doubt that they did something to this child. Now, of course, if they did do something, they deserve to be punished with the highest standards of the law. But we are a place that relies heavily on a jury's thinking, if I'm saying this right. Depending on how the jury feels about you and what the evidence they're looking at, it'll make or break your case. But let me know your thoughts on that situation, y'all. Let me know, who do you believe? Or are you like me and you need more information before you just make a rash judgment? I wonder what kind of evidence that he has against him. But remember now, this all came about because he was filing a order of protection, or what is it? What is it called? Order of protection, a restraining order, or he was putting a restraining order against the woman. And then the reason he asked for the restraining order is because he put all this in there, saying that he was sexually assaulted and everything, all this. That's how all this came out. So it wasn't he was filing a police report. He was doing a restraining order. Does that make a difference? I don't know. But let me know your thoughts on that situation, y'all. And let me know if you disagree with anything I said. We're going to pivot now into our second topic, where we got to go to Miami, where this father ends up pleading guilty to killing his son. It was happened 2 years ago, and he's finally in court to, I guess he finally wants to get it over with and move on with his life eventually, but move on in jail, the best place to say it. But let's get over into it. We'll watch a few videos of him in court, and then we'll watch, it looks like there's a Ring camera that captured him 2 years ago that's supposedly right after he killed his son. So let's get over into these videos and see what we can find out about it, and just see what our thoughts are on this whole situation. Now remember, y'all, the best way to show your support is always just hit that like button, hit that subscribe button, and hit that notification bell so you can be up to date on all the videos, y'all. But let's get over into it and see what we can find.
Is accused of shooting and killing his son. That father agreed to a plea deal in the case. CBS News Miami's Maribel Rodriguez is your reporter live at the courthouse in Miami with what happened in court this morning. Maribel.
Naja, just a heartbreaking story. Right now, they are taking a 5-minute recess. But we're talking about a father accused of killing his son, 21-year-old Eric Contreras, back in November of 2023 at their home in Canto. And this morning, that father, David Contreras, appeared in court for a plea hearing. We have yet to hear from the judge as far as that plea. But according to investigators, at around 2 p.m. on November 3rd of 2023, they received a 911 call from David Contreras, the father. It was a Saturday morning about a domestic dispute, and when police arrived, according to the arrest report, they found his son, Eric, dead. And today, here in court, we're talking about 36 of his friends who loved him speaking out before a judge.
I would like to take this time to address David, whom I haven't spoken to in well over 3 years. David, while I will always speak out against what you did, I would like to take this opportunity to forgive you. The Bible tells us that we are to forgive others if we want to be forgiven ourselves. It also mentions that God will repay. Justice, or the lack thereof, is not ours to serve. There's not a sin on this earth that you will not forgive, and I invite you to confess yours to him. I hope you redeem what is left of your life by finding salvation in Jesus Christ, and I firmly believe that Eric would have wanted the same for you.
Eric was the kind of person everyone gravitated toward. Eric wanted to experience everything life had to offer, and he made sure the people that he loved were right there with him.
And that father, David Contreras, is being charged with second-degree murder. However, we are hearing, and this is not confirmed, he could be pleading to a lesser charge of manslaughter. However, the judge is still hearing the victims speaking on behalf of their son. So that is going to take quite some time because there are more than 36 of Eric's friends speaking on his behalf. Eric was an FIU student and also a graduate of Christopher Columbus High School. We, of course, will keep you updated on this story.
What can drive a man to kill his own son? And the fact that they have 20 of his close friends just telling him, explaining how much they meant to him. Yeah, he meant to them. It's a tragic situation. Let's go over to this next video and just get a little bit more information on it.
Father who confessed to fatally shooting his son in Kendall is back in court.
He took a plea deal today in this case. Local 10's Jeff Derdarian live in Miami with these details. Jeff.
Hey there, guys. Yeah, family shattered, heartbroken. There's some kind of an argument that started all of this between a father and a son, changing a lot of lives forever. Let's take you now inside the courtroom from today. David Contreras changing his plea to guilty on a manslaughter charge. He pled guilty to manslaughter in the shooting death of his son, 22-year-old Eric. Now, Contreras will serve 12 years in state prison. Again, there was some kind of a fight back in November of 2023. Contreras, the father, called 911 himself after the gunshot went off. It also appears, based on what we heard in court, there had been a history of arguing between the two. The judge, first he spoke, and then this woman said she wanted to talk about the love and admiration she had for Eric and wishing that he was still here.
You're pleading guilty to the amended information of manslaughter deadly weapon with a deadly weapon?
Yes. I will not allow this sentencing to minimize the impact of Eric's life. And I ask for everyone to recognize here the depth of what was taken from me, from Eric, and for all of those that loved him.
Now, my first thing is, so he pled guilty to manslaughter, which I can never understand how you can pull a gun on somebody, shoot, unless it's like an accidental shot, and then that not being expecting them to die from that. Because now listen to the definition of manslaughter versus murder. So in the U.S., the primary difference between murder and manslaughter is the perpetrator's intent and mindset. Murder involves premeditation or malice, intent to kill. Manslaughter is killing without malice, often committed in the heat of passion or due to recklessness or negligence. Now, even if it's the heat of the passion, or however they wanted to word it, you pull a gun on somebody, that sounds like murder to me. But hey, let's keep going into this.
The hearing just ending a couple of minutes ago. Contreras led away and handcuffed. He will begin to serve his prison sentence starting today. Also, a powerful moment in the courtroom, really quick, between the judge and Contreras. I've been doing this a long time. I've never seen a judge call out someone, a defendant, in court. He asked him specifically, Mr. Contreras, do you want to say anything to all of the people that are in the courtroom who are not happy with what has happened, who feel as though you've been selfish, and also other things that Contreras may have done along the way, according to the judge? There was a little bit of a break. Contreras then thought about it. He talked with his lawyer. Then after the break, we went back into the courtroom, and Contreras did speak. He did not say a lot, but he said, I have to live with this, Judge. We'll have more first at 3 on air and online. We're live.
Now, question: do you think he was selfish in the fact that he waited till he could get a manslaughter plea to plead guilty? Because I bet 100% that the prosecutor offered him or asked him to plead guilty with a murder charge, but of course he said no. He talked to his lawyer. They said if you hold out, you probably can get a manslaughter charge. But does he deserve manslaughter charge? Let's get over into the AI breakdown just to get a little bit more information on this whole case. It's a tragic situation no matter how you look at it. But a father ended up killing his son. So we can know that David, 54, pleaded guilty to manslaughter with a deadly weapon for the 2023 shooting of his son, Eric. As part of the plea deal that reduced the original second-degree murder charge, he also got 12 years in Florida State Prison, 10 years of probation, no early termination of his probation. So most likely he got to serve half of that to be ordered for parole. So here's the whole case background. We got, after the return from a family trip to Disney World, an argument between the father and son escalated. David shot his 21-year-old son, a construction management student at the Florida International University, multiple times. He called 911 immediately after the shooting, telling dispatcher he just lost it. His attorney previously argued that the shooting was related to the son's struggle with mental health and claimed that the father had suffered years of abuse, though the prosecution disputed these characteristics. During the emotional sentencing hearing, we had several of his friends and his girlfriend provide victim impact statements. So you see how I'm still confused on how this whole part, it says David shot his 21-year-old son multiple times. I can never understand how someone can shoot someone multiple times, and that's clearly listed in the police statement, but it's still called manslaughter and not murder. Most likely they offered him a plea deal because they didn't believe that they could get a second-degree murder charge. But, I mean, I don't know what else. It just sounds like murder to me. But hey, let me know your thoughts on that situation, y'all. Let me know how you feel about it. Do you think that manslaughter is the right charge for this kind of thing? Even though he shot him multiple times. Can the heat or the anger be so high that it outrages, that it makes you not think? Let me know your thoughts, y'all. Let me know your thoughts, and let me know if you disagree with anything I said. We're going to pivot now into the third topic we got to discuss today. And it's where are the parents? I've said this several times, but we had a Chicago teen takeover that happened in downtown. A wild brawl broke out. 8 people arrested, fighting, jumping on cars. And then they're wondering why the systems that they have in place aren't working. They love to blame it on saying that we got to find after school activities for our kids. These kids need to be put in jail. Simple as that. Let's get over into it and see what we can find out. Hold on, y'all. Hold on. See, I forgot a video. Let's look at this real quick. Let's go back to the last subject. Let's look at this. This is the video of him right after the incident. Let's get into it.
Hello? David, talk to me. Is he alive? Is he breathing?
He's not breathing. He's dead.
But why, David? Why?
The fighting on the way home was unbearable, and we got here, and just from one second to the next, he was going to go to the Keys. He was going to go with Jacob. He was going to fight girls. Would it be okay if girls go and sleep over? I said no, and I told him no, and I was going to go over there tonight and make sure. He says, well, all right. You know,
I'm sorry.
It's not your fault, Odie.
Julie heard you. Julie heard you. Julie heard you. I'm sorry.
It's not your fault, Odie. Please call my brother. I
Where's
just
your
talked
brother?
to him.
Where's your brother?
Please.
Where's your brother? He's gonna go to jail.
Yeah, he's going to go to jail. But like I said, let me know your thoughts on that whole situation. Manslaughter or murder, y'all. Absolutely crazy. Like I said, let's pivot over into this next topic where we're going over to a teen takeover. I'm not going to do the whole explanation again, but let's go over into it and see what we can find out about this situation, y'all. Let's jump over into it.
We got about 200-300 kids just running back and forth, jumping on cars, just fighting, taunting the police. And it got pretty bad to the point me and my team actually witnessed the little boy actually getting stumped out.
Yeah, this is just one of the many videos of wild brawls happening in the deep blue city of Chicago. Authorities are now sounding the alarm on teen takeovers by issuing a curfew enforcement. So far, 8 teens have been arrested, with an additional 24 getting hit with a curfew violation. It's not just happening in Chicago. Take a look at our nation's capital, suffering from a similar teen takeover, which eventually escalated to gunfire. And earlier this month, Los Angeles also erupted into similar takeovers involving unruly crowds blocking intersections, performing illegal car stunts, and vandalizing buildings. One rowdy group even stormed a luxury apartment building, damaging the property and attacking the staff. These teen takeovers aren't anything new. In May of 2025, about 100 teens terrorized D.C.'s Navy Yard, resulting in the brutal beating of an unidentified man. That was just the second teen takeover in that month alone. All right, Griff, I remember.
All I can say is they lucky they not in the South. Lucky not in the South. Because jumping on people will not be taken lightly. What are we going to do, y'all? Or what should the parents do? Or what should the city do? Remember, y'all, they already had a curfew in place, but it's obviously not working. They obviously don't care. They obviously know there's a slap on the wrist, but let's keep going.
Remember a song by Jason Aldean called Try That in a Small Town? It doesn't happen where I'm from. This doesn't happen in Nashville, Tennessee, that I know of. But it happens in D.C., it happens in L.A., it happens in Daytona at spring break. These teen takeovers are not just groups of teens kind of coming together extemporaneously. These are often planned. It's a social media call. They show up and they create damage. So the question is it a parenting problem? Is it a law enforcement problem? Is it both? What do we do?
Well, it's a great point. I mean, where are their parents? And why are they getting to just go out and terrorize cities? In D.C., Tommy, they're freaking out because the curfew that was put in place because of that incident last year sunsets on April 15th. And the D.C. Council can't come up with enough votes now to simply extend it. The police, MPD, say, please extend it because it's still a thing, these flash mob, whatever we call them, and it gives us a preventive tool to stop it. Now you're seeing the major cities like Chicago and LA also having to do it. But ultimately, curfews are a tool that help law enforcement try and stave off the problem, preventative measures, but they can't deal with this every night. And the parents are going to have to be responsible. Otherwise, I don't know how you stop it. I mean, when did teens become a dangerous thing? But apparently that's what we are dealing with in 2026.
Well, and Carly, part of what happens here, if you have a mass group of teens and something happens, whether it's a takeover, the car stunts, or then you see gunfire like we've seen in a number of these incidents, well, you might have law enforcement come and respond, but then people scatter. So you might get some curfew violations, but you know, you're not going to get the totality of the enforcement.
Bingo, because there's hundreds of people there. So how do you do that?
Hey, everyone. I'm Emily Campagna.
The real question, how do you enforce it? Let's go over into this next video and just get more information.
Just a teen takeover down here right in the heart of downtown by the theater. They're standing off with them right now. I'm directly in the way. Probably should like get out of the way just in case they start to fire guns or something. But yeah, they're all like mobbed up right here. And they're going, they got the kids on one side and then the police right here on the other. So it's a crazy situation going on downtown right now. Watch out. So I see some people getting arrested already. Police are literally everywhere. They're up the road here. They're down the street here. I've never seen so many police out here. I thought they were filming for the movie. They got the trucks out here. They did everything. It was wild. The kids have dispersed. I think they got the scene under control, but it is crazy. There's police as far as the eyes can see all the way down. They're everywhere. They're over here. So there, that's what's going on in downtown Chicago on State Street and Randolph. Randolph and State Street. Teen takeover was dispersed. I don't know if there's any damage done or anything, but there are quite a few arrests. So that's what beats the hat. Welcome to Chicago, where the players play. Right across from the Needle Theater, where coincidentally the Wiz is playing. Black Wizard of Oz. So people are talking, like, people are crazy. There's a lot going on over here right now in the city. Probably get out of here before the people start shooting off or whatever. But there's police, like I said, they're everywhere. They got this shit. They got a whole fucking truckload full of people over there.
Let's move over to the next video where we get more in depth on the 8 people who were arrested.
Well, the city of Chicago is ready this time when teens pack the loop again. Saquon is downtown to tell us what happened. Say.
Terrence, some big developments here at noon. We have now learned 8 total teenagers have now been arrested in connection to that large gathering here in the Loop last night. 7 of those teenagers between the ages of 13 and 16 were each charged with 1 misdemeanor count of reckless conduct, and one of them had a warrant out for his arrest. We've learned the 8th teenager who was arrested, a 16-year-old boy, was charged with 3 felony counts of aggravated assault of peace officers, 1 misdemeanor count of reckless conduct, and 1 citation for riding a bike on a sidewalk.
Why don't your parents know where you are? Come on now, let's be between the ages of 13 and 16, your parents should know where you are. Yes, some kids lie, but come on now. What are we doing? What are parents doing?
Take a look at this video, though. It was shared on the Citizen app. It was at around 9:30 last night when this large group of teenagers were seen gathered here in the Loop. Video also shows Chicago police officers on scene, many of them on bikes, and we also saw several emergency vehicles in the area as well. This is another video we've obtained through the Citizen app. As you can see here, one of those teenagers being handcuffed and taken away by police. Justin Peters, the founder of Chi-Town Crime Chaser, says he was in the thick of the chaos trying to help break up the crowd. Listen.
Well, we got about 200-300 kids just running back and forth, jumping on cars, just fighting, taunting the police. And it got pretty bad to the point me and my team actually witnessed the little boy actually getting stumped out unconscious, and I had to render aid to him. We had to call an ambulance for this boy. It's frustrating. This is something in the current.
And some people think that these people shouldn't be locked up. Some people say that these are just kids being kids, teens being teens, but they jumping people. Jumping them with, like, that was like 10 people all on the same dude, stomping them to the ground. Imagine that was your kid. Now lock them all up.
That's been happening quite a lot for lately. We done had, this is the 3rd month of the year, and we done had several teen takeovers, especially in the downtown area, where the same events is happening, more shootings, kids getting shot. I actually had one of the boys that I mentor get shot at the last teen takeover, and so it's devastating.
First of all, I would have told him why he had to take over in the first place. Don't go, as simple as that. Don't go to the teen takeovers.
This comes as the city council is still working to pass a revised curfew ordinance aimed at preventing teen takeovers. The new ordinance would allow Chicago police to give a 30-minute warning to disperse the crowd instead of the previously proposed 12 hours. And before issuing any citations, officers would be required to ask the person's age and why they are out. Several city leaders, including 2nd Ward Alderman Brian Hopkins, have been pushing for this, especially after several teen gatherings have turned violent and deadly in the past. Alderman Hopkins posting this on X last night saying, quote, "I'm at Staten Lake, crowd partially dispersed by 10:40 p.m. The situation was out of control about an hour ago, but then at 10 p.m. an order was issued for curfew enforcement. It had an immediate impact on this violent teen trend. Curfew enforcement is effective." Right now, the current citywide curfew for minors is 10 p.m. every night. That does get a little bit more strict in areas like Millennium Park with the 6 p.m. curfew. Terrence, Chicago police telling us in just the last couple of hours as well, they have have issued a total of 24 curfew violations, which can come with a $500 fine, community service, or an even bigger fine, depending on the person and their past criminal history.
That doesn't sound like enough. I mean, I'm just speaking for what's happening. That does not sound like enough. They said that they had to previously give them 12 hours notice. Yeah, I don't understand the lawmakers sometimes. 12 hours? What can you do in 12 hours? Let me know your thoughts on this situation, y'all. Let me know will this all stop if we start charging the parents? Would this stop? Would they be more responsible of where their kids are if we started charging the parents? Come on now, we got to think of something. They're saying that the curfew is effective, but I want to stop it before it even starts. Let's hold the parents accountable, make sure they know where their kids are. Make sure they know exactly what they're doing, who they're hanging out with. Be responsible about your child's life. I guess some parents think that's too hard, though. But let me know your thoughts on this situation, y'all. Let me know how you feel about it. The best way to show your support is always just to hit that like button, hit that subscribe button, and hit that notification bell so you can be up to date on all the videos. Now we go over to our fourth topic. We're a little early, so we might do a fifth. But the fourth topic we're discussing today is a viral video that's been going on. It looks like a trans lawyer ended up having a meltdown in court and having to be dragged away. And if I'm not mistaken, at one point somebody talked about, I need a female officer. This is a trans male. So a woman who used to be a man who used to be a woman. But let's get over into the video and see what our thoughts are on this whole thing and see what we feel about it. Or did they do too much? Did they not do enough? Well, how do we feel? Tell me your thoughts, y'all. Let's jump over into it and see what our thoughts are.
What are you doing? What are you doing? You're hurting me! You're hurting me!
Well, that didn't go as planned. Let's back up a bit, huh? This is transgender lawyer Rob Hopkins in Oklahoma. Things in the courtroom are a little testy because Rob's client did not show up for court. So let's watch the tension build to a fever pitch.
I don't think there's any need in going forward today. We were back to the issue at hand, which was you asked me to not provide testimony on behalf of my client. You asked me what paragraph it was. I pointed you to the exact paragraph. Stop. It's her education. Stop. Stop because you don't want to hear what the argument is. Stop. You interrupt me one more time, you are being held in direct contempt of court, and yes, you can wipe that smirk off. I don't have a smirk on my face. Oh, yes, you do. I do not. I am not going to tolerate this from you, sir. Yes, ma'am. There was a pause. There was a break. I wasn't done with my argument. And I was not done with my statement. You interrupted again. Do not throw your... I did not throw. It fell off the bench. Please stop stating things that are not true, ma'am. Sir, you've got a room full of witnesses. I do. I put it down. I did. I put it down and it fell down. I did not fall. Then settle down. I'm not upset and I'm not arguing. You're not letting me make an argument. I'm not red in the face, ma'am. I'm not. Stop. Our court reporter cannot get what we're both saying. I am trying to make my argument.
Now, quick thoughts. Do you think he's doing too much, not doing enough? What are your thoughts, y'all? Let's keep going into it.
You interrupted my argument halfway through on an objection. That will get every available deputy. Yes, ma'am. I'm aware. It's happened to me before. It has. Yes. Because you're out of line. Yeah, of course. I guess so. Okay. If I push that, or maybe because I'm a transgender attorney practicing all over the state. I don't know what you are. You do, ma'am. It's not that you do. So we are pausing this.
But when he says you do know, I mean, I can't get a good look at him. A full beard, I wouldn't question it. Maybe talk a little soft, but hey, that's what some men do. That wouldn't have been my first thought. So how can he assume that a judge just knows that he's transgender and treating him wrong? Let's keep going into this, though.
Until you get the ADA request form filled out and it gets processed.
So we're going to pause the hearing on jurisdiction that's been set twice. I drove an hour and a half to have the hearing. My client's available telephonically, and we are simply not even taking testimony.
Is your client available telephonically?
Yes, ma'am. Yes, ma'am.
Well, then get her on the phone.
Thank you.
Your Honor, to which we would object. This is as clear as the nose on my face that this woman will not appear before this court because she has a warrant for stealing.
Objection, you say that's not true. And you're ready.
You will find, sir, that you
See, nah, you're not supposed to be yelling like that. I know that for a fact. You let them say their argument, and then you supposed to respond.
It's over me or shout at me.
I'm not putting you on there. No, we're stopping.
Get out of my face, sir. Get out of my face, sir.
You may step
Get out of my face.
You should leave this county.
Get out of my face.
Oh, no, y'all heard that, right? I swear he said you should leave this county. Oh, he's not from there. Okay, I was thinking it might have been because he's transgender, but I think it's just because he doesn't live there.
Get out of my face.
These people are my friends, and you're being ugly.
And get out of my face.
Put your hands behind your back.
Why?
Because you're in direct contempt of court.
He shouted at me. No, I'm not being. You did not even say that I was in
You
contempt.
are in direct.
No, I'm not
Judge,
doing
I
my stuff.
apologize, but I felt very threatened by this person. The screaming and the yelling in court, I've never even heard that before in this courtroom.
Do not hurt me. Do not hurt me.
Come on, bro. At the end of the day, just do what they say. Put your papers down. Go to contempt. Get out. You're a lawyer now. Let's not be.
Me.
Put your hands behind your back.
Do not. Are you throwing me over this?
Stop resisting.
I'm not resisting.
Okay. Put your hands behind your back. Stop resisting.
You know exactly what's
Why
happening.
don't you all walk that way so you can...
I can't walk. I'm being thrown down.
Just settle down. Walk that way.
No.
Settle down. Do not grab me. Do not grab me. What are you doing? What are you doing? What are you doing? You're hurting me. You're hurting me. You just take me. You just take me. Don't give me. I can't breathe. I can't breathe. I can't breathe. I can't breathe.
Put your hands behind your back.
You saw that, right? He was screaming, "I can't breathe," but he didn't have him in a full choke. He let it go. He's still saying it. I don't know if he can. Him holding his arms back is making him say, "I can't breathe."
I can't breathe. I can't breathe. I can't breathe. I can't breathe. I can't breathe.
I don't know, y'all. I ain't never heard a grown man scream like that, but.
Somebody call 911. Please. 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 Please.
Major security.
Ow. 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 Somebody call 911. I don't. Get a female officer now. Get a female officer now. Get a female officer now.
There aren't any.
Okay, quick question. If you're a trans male woman who transitioned to a male, why do you need a female officer? Or is it because that she, I mean, it might be the fact that I'm not even going to try to go into detail, but she might get sentenced to the women's prison. But let's keep going.
I can't get up. I can't see. He just threw my glasses. I can't see. Give me my glasses. Put them on my face. No. Put them on my face. I cannot see. No. Please. Give me my glasses, I cannot see. I'm not trying to walk and I cannot see. I need my wallet.
Thanks, Robert. Thanks, guys.
I'm trying to walk, please.
All right, y'all. We got the gist of everything that happened. What are your thoughts on that situation? Did he do too much? Did he not do enough? Did he throw his phone on the ground? No, I don't think. He just sat it down and fell. Okay. Did he start yelling because the other dude started yelling? Yes. Did he lose control of his emotions? 100%. At the end of the day, he was supposed to remain calm, not get overly loud. If he would have just let him say his argument, because he objected to one of his letting them call the defendant on the phone. He gave an obvious objection, which is his right to do as a lawyer, the prosecutor. He interrupted him saying that that's bull. He should have just waited until he finished talking and then gave his own arguments. And then he was for sure screaming though. Golly, let me know your thoughts on that situation, y'all. Let me know how you feel about it. Was he being mistreated because he was transgender? If you would have just saw him out, would you have known that he was transgender just by looking at him? I wouldn't have. Now, some people say, Alex, you blind? But, hey, let me know your thoughts on that situation, y'all. Let me know if you disagree with anything I said. Absolutely crazy, y'all. Now, let's go over into one more story since we got a little time to talk about it. Let's go over into it and see what we can find out. So this next story we're going to get over into. Let's see. So we're going to look. It looks like this story, we got a driver arrested. It looks like they crashed into a house and ended up killing the mom and the son as they slept. Let's get over into these videos and then we'll go over into the AI breakdown just to get a little bit more information into it. But let me know your thoughts on this. And remember, y'all, the best way to show your support is just to hit that like button, hit that subscribe button, and hit that notification bell so you can be up to date on all the videos. Let's jump over into it, see what our thoughts are.
The Stephenville community is mourning after 2 people died early Sunday after a car crashed into a home. A suspect has been arrested after killing a mother and her son in their bedroom. Jay Souls has their story.
The crash at 3:30 a.m. Sunday shattered not only the walls of a home, but a family. 18-year-old Gracie Yates was arrested after driving head-on into a bedroom of the home in the 200 block of Ollie Street in Stephenville. 49-year-old Barbara Rocha and her 7-year-old son, Alex Aaron Rocha, were killed.
I never imagined this to happen to me. Never imagined losing my mom. Like, my mom she didn't deserve this. She was the sweetest woman. And then my brother is just...
18, y'all. 18 years old and ended up taking the lives of 2 people.
I'm sorry.
No, that's okay.
It's just my little brother. I won't be able to see him grow up.
Raul Rocha, at his home in Bonham, tells me he was jolted awake before dawn Sunday by a call from his dad. It turned out to be dreadful. The news that his mom and little brother had passed away.
I got that call that I never want to get in my life.
Well,
never expected to get.
Another brother who survived gave Raul heart-wrenching details of the first moments.
He's like, yeah, I remember. He's like, all I remember is all I heard is a crash. I went in the room and all you can hear is my little brother screaming and my mom praying. And that's what he says. That's right now. I have that stuck back in my head right now. It's like just my brother screaming and my mom praying.
The 2 were rushed to a hospital and died of their injuries a short time later. Yates is currently charged with negligent homicide in an investigation that is ongoing. Police did not indicate if they observed any signs of intoxication. Rocha says his family wants justice. But for now, they are still processing the shock of what's happened to his little brother and his mom.
Now, how does someone plow into a house and not be drunk?
Thing I'm gonna miss every time I go visit him, he always comes up and hugs me and says, "I miss you." And I'm never gonna get that again. She was so sweet. She always cared about us, cared about anyone around her.
There's
a real mother. Let me know your thoughts on that situation, y'all. Let's keep going into this. We'll go over to this next video.
room right there.
It's a reality that still hasn't felt real for Alfredo Rocha, going to bed Saturday night and waking up to the unimaginable.
All I wake up to is a loud bang, and I hear my dad get up and he runs straight to the room, and then I run straight to the room right after him, and that's when we see all the rubble.
Inside that room, his mother Barbara and his 7-year-old brother Aaron were sleeping together when a car tore through the back of their house and hit them head on.
All I hear is Aaron's voice. He's all like, "Help me, help me."
Both of them later died from their injuries. His mom's last breath was a prayer.
And all she was saying is, there's a saying in Spanish, "El sangre de Cristo tiene poder." That's all she was repeating throughout the entire time, till her last breath. And what is that? She's like, the blood of Christ can do anything.
18-year-old Gracie Yates was arrested at the scene. Records show she was living in Santa Ana, more than 70 miles from Stephenville, and was arrested last summer for public intoxication in Brownwood. She is now charged with 2 counts of criminally negligent homicide on a $29,000 bond.
So you're telling me my family's only worth the $29,000? These are the people I'm never going to be able to see again.
And you can see flowers and items are piling up here next to the home, turning this corner into a growing memorial. And the Rocha family even says they've lived here for 20 years without ever having something like this happen. And they say this should have never happened to begin with. Now what's left are the memories, his mom's smile, and famous tamales.
She was the greatest. She always put everybody first. One of the best cooks I know.
And the memory of his little brother's antics and artwork.
He was very artistic. He would draw for days. He was one of the happiest kids I've known. He always had a smile on his face.
A family now forced to move forward without the 2 people who meant everything.
It's tore us apart, but also brought us together. We're never going to see them again.
In Stephenville, Amelie McGovero, CBS News, Texas.
Absolutely tragic situation. This is a family member's worst nightmare. You're sleeping in your room, minding your business, good dreams. And then you awaken out of the night and a car has gone through your house and killed your mother and your brother. Let's go over to the AI breakdown, y'all. We gotta figure out more information about this whole thing because this is a tragic situation. The biggest question I got is, was she intoxicated or was she not? So in the tragic March 22nd accident, 49-year-old Barbara and 7-year-old Alex were killed when a car crashed into their bedroom while they were sleeping in Texas. It happened around 3:30 a.m. at a residence on the 200 block of North Alley Street. The 18-year-old driver left the roadway and plowed through the wall of the house, striking the mother and son head on in their beds. Both were rushed to the Texas Health Resources, but succumbed to their injuries. The husband, Alfredo, and their younger daughter were also in the home, but were not physically injured. So we also got the sons who were in there as well. So we know about the driver's identity, Garcia Yates, 18 years old, of St. Anna, Texas. She was charged, arrested at the scene and charged with 2 counts of criminally negligent homicide. She was released from the jail after posting a total bond of $29,000. Police have not yet confirmed if alcohol or any other impairment were factors in the crash, though records indicate that she has prior arrests for public intoxication in 2025. So there are some conflicting things, but they haven't confirmed that she was drunk yet. She was charged with 2 counts of criminally negligent homicide rather than intoxicated manslaughter. So that means, which is typical, you would typically get that charge, intoxicated manslaughter, if you are drunk at the time of the accident. The GoFamily page set up from the Rochelle's explicitly describes the incident as being by a drunk driver. Records show that she had previously intoxicated. Some community members on the platform like Facebook have claimed that the alcohol-related incident was found, though the report. So it has not been 100% confirmed if this was an alcohol-induced accident. But what other, if she wasn't drunk, she might have been high. She was not in her right mind. As simple as that. Unless you were just not paying attention, there's only 2 options. Either you're not paying attention or you're on something to where you will run into a house. You're less likely, I think you're less likely to do it if you're just not paying attention. But hey, some people get distracted a long time. The most obvious or fact that makes the most sense is that she was overly intoxicated. Plus, with the past crimes she had of being publicly intoxicated or charges she has, I think it's clear to say that she was possibly intoxicated on something. Might have not been alcohol, might have not been, it could have been on Molly, drunk, anything. But we'll have to wait for more information to come out. And if she wasn't intoxicated on anything, why did she run into the house? This is a nightmare for any kind of family member. You're constantly thinking, what it could have been me. Why wasn't it me? It's your mother and your younger brother. You know the father's thinking, why it wasn't me. It's a tragic situation, y'all, but let me know your thoughts on that situation. Let me know if you disagree with anything I said. But that is the end of the show today. We went over 5 topics, 5 crazy topics that we needed to review together, y'all. Now, remember, the best thing to do to show your support is always just hit that like button, hit that subscribe button, and hit that notification bell so you can be up to date on all the videos. Remember, y'all, these videos will be broken down so you can go back and watch the one you want or just like it. I don't care which one you want to do. But if you ever got any suggestions, please send it over to my email. It's very simple, acreviewstheworld@gmail.com, a dot after the A and a dot after the C. But that's it for now, y'all. I will most likely do a pre-recorded show tomorrow because I'm going to be handling some business tomorrow. So you most likely will have a pre-recorded show. But we'll still go over 4 crazy topics that we need to discuss. But remember, y'all, let me know your thoughts. That is the whole point of this, is so we can have a discussion on this type of stuff. If you disagree with anything I said throughout this whole video, let me know. But that is it for now, y'all. You already know I got to play that outro. Peace.